Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. I know it has been several months since you guys have seen me, and you definitely haven't seen this truck in a while. I know it's been a few months since you guys seen me, so I want to give you guys a quick update on the muscle truck and how the Sniper is holding up, how everything is doing. Do have something new for the truck today from Summit Racing, and we're just going to cut straight to it. Basically, the only issue I've had with this truck is the little breathers on the valve covers. Really bad for pushing oil out of them. And I know some people, oh, it's blow by. No, it's not blow by. This is just part of it. They fill up with oil over time. So to save yourself some trouble, here's a part number for the kit I'm going to use on today's install. And here's what we're working with. We got a Blueprint 383 in here. Technically it's a 377. Got all of this from Summit Racing, and engine included, pretty much everything you see. Running Holley Sniper. This is Sniper 1. It's also got the HyperSpark with the standalone ECU in here. So if you haven't already done it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and check out all my old videos. It's going to give you a little more insight on this build and what all is going on with this truck, as well as suspension and any other questions you might have. In today's video, we're going to try to get rid of all this oil that runs out of these breathers. You can see I already installed one of them here. And here's what I had in both breathers. This is pretty typical to see. It's just a good old filter jammed down in there. And for most of you guys going to hot rod shows and just cruising it back and forth, maybe that's fine. For me, I drive this truck a lot and I beat on this truck pretty hard. So I've had some issues with these filling up. After a couple hundred miles, maybe 500-600 miles, they get really bad, starts running down on the headers, just makes an absolute mess. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you guys through installing a air oil separator, or catch can, whatever you want to call it. And this is Summit Racing's version of that. And it's not going to break the bank. I think I picked this thing up for around 130 bucks. Comes with barbs, fittings, hoses, clamps, literally everything you need. Breathers included. Already got one stuck in there, as you can see. The reason I actually didn't pull it back out is because it fits so well, I had a hard time getting it back out. So I just left it in there for what's going on here. But yeah, anyway, let's get straight to it. I'm going to show you what comes in the kit. All right, so here's the tank itself. Actually pretty well put together. It might be, I don't know where it's made at, to be honest with you, but it's fairly well made for what I'm giving for it. I mean, there's guys that sell versions of these that are like $300 some, and you know, I love this old truck to death, but I'm not putting $300 into a little catch can. So here's what I'm thinking. I have not mocked up anything yet, but we're probably going to mount this thing. This is literally just probably right in there somewhere. I'll have to trim the bracket or make one. This is literally what comes in a box. Keep in mind, these grommets that you see, I don't think they actually include grommets. No, okay. So be mindful of that, guys, if you order this kit. Now, valve covers are going to be different for everybody, so I'm not telling you to go order this exact one, but this happens to be what worked with my valve cover. So first thing you do, measure your valve cover. This one, however, you do want to make sure you get a 1-inch ID. That is what's going to fit on the bottom of each of these little breathers. So 1-inch ID, and depends on your valve cover. My truck here actually has from Blueprint. They are 1.5 inches. So that's what I ordered, was 1 inch by 1.5 inches. So other breathers already in the valve cover. You've got this one that goes on the other side. Includes the hoses as well. Your clamps, barb fittings, which you can cut this to length. Yeah, you get the idea. All right, so what we're gonna do here is mock this up real quick, but basically here's how this thing works. You put one of these breathers in each of valve cover, and you're gonna run it up into the expansion tank here in an inlet and outlet. It does not matter which way you run it. And basically what this thing does is it vents to atmosphere instead of it running all over your valve cover. So that's pretty awesome, and I think this is the missing piece for this truck. That's the only problem I've had with it. You guys can see, look at the oil. I mean, they were so filled up, it just started running everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I'm over it. Okay, I'm done with this. So here we go. All right, so for using these, if I recall, you want to drill a hole that's just slightly big enough to let this guy slip into. I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Basically, I have a threaded nut here that has a washer on the back that spins freely. And that's an important part, elsewise this will not work the way you think it will. And once everything is sort of tight right here, between these two guys, you get enough threads locked in. So let's say it's threaded down into right here. You know, I've got enough threads. Then what you'll do is sort of tighten this up and use this one to spin, and that will then pull this guy up this thread and crush it. And actually that's the only way you can install a rev nut in this application. You couldn't even get the tool in to do that on the front chassis of this truck, that core support there. So this is going to be the way to do it. So that's my little hack for the day. And the other cool thing is you don't have to have bolts that come in from the front side of the grill. So now this is nice and threaded. It kind of has that factory look, if there was ever such thing. So yeah, that's my little hack for the day. I'm going to go ahead now. Let's drill our holes, lay this thing out, and get it going. Alright guys, my trick worked really well. So if you can find yourself one of these, just a longer bolt with a flanged threaded nut on the end that spins with the washer, works really well. Look at that. Got ourselves a rev nut right there. So now we go ahead and mount our tank, and then that's also going to help me spot the other side. So that's kind of a tech tip there. You can drill one hole, tighten the thing up, and it'll hold itself so you can mark the other side. And I'm using painter's tape to kind of help me identify where to go. But yep, that's where I'm going to mount it. So let's go ahead now, mount the tank, and get us a spot for the other side and repeat the process again. Looking good down in there. Rev nut worked perfectly. And now you can take a 10 mil, just any kind of a ratcheting wrench, and buzz that thing right out of there. So I gotta say, that's pretty well hidden. Check that out. It's kind of factory down in here. So you open the hood, you don't even really notice it till I put the lines on it, then you're gonna know right away. But hey, that's a really good spot for you OBS guys running any kind of small block, stroker, LS, I don't care what it is. If you got a blower application, you know, you don't have any kind of expansion tank or some huge honking radiator, hey, this is a good idea. You can mount this thing right here. Just basically use this same exact method I've done. Just go ahead and account for about a 2.5 inch spacer if you want to pull this off with using some type of a spacer mount or something else. Check that out. It's looking good. So the other thing this does for me, this gives me a good line of sight as to where to drill the other hole, and I can actually set a level on this and get it, you know, as dead perfect as I can, and drill a hole right here on the other side, just use an automatic center punch. Yeah, I'm thrilled with how that turned out. Looks really good. You can't even tell it's there. Alright guys, check it out. There we go. Mount it up. Pretty solid. Doesn't move around hardly, really not much at all. Took the filter off of it, but you get the idea. Should go just like that. So there's how it's going to look. Very well hidden down in there. Looks nice. Easy to get to. The bracket is fairly straight. I probably could do a little tweaking to it, and I probably will, just to dial it all the way in. Now I am running the hoses right now, so I'm going to run these. Probably try and neaten them up, run them around through here. Obviously, I may get some 90s at some point and neaten this up a tad, but this one's probably okay. I'm going to go around the battery with it, so that's my next step. So I'm going to go ahead and run these lines now, and you can see the rib nuts in there. You guys can see them right there. There they are. Worked really good. So I'll have to say that little trick for putting those in is pretty much the only way to put them in. All right, here we go. Things mounted up. Look at that. Got the lines ran. Actually turned out pretty good. It doesn't look terrible. You can definitely see that I've added something here. And I'll straighten these out. You know, not exactly the best way that I would choose to route them. And my lighting's a little kind of funky here. We're working with the house garage today, so bear with me. But yeah, not too bad. You know, it had just enough. I mean, just enough line to get it to reach. But it does go around the back side. You can see I routed it underneath the battery tray, and then it sneaks up right through here. And I think it's actually, that's going to work out just fine. The other side doesn't look too bad. I hit it pretty well. So, I mean, overall, not really all that bad. There we go. Yep, everything looks good. I will probably straighten that up later, but for now, you know, it's okay. So there you go. Actually looks pretty good. I have to say that's pretty factory looking, if I do say so myself. That's not half bad for basically not having a machine shop and just finding random brackets from other swaps and making something work. So keep that in mind, guys. You don't have to make this stuff crazy. You don't have to have a machine shop to pull this off. You literally can order these L brackets and things like that from Amazon, Summit Racing, and just make them for your application. You might have to kind of sketch out what you want, but guess what? It's totally doable. I've learned if you'll count to about 3 and then crank it. Look at that. There we go. It does idle a little bit low on that cold start, so there is some after start enrichment in there. There's a few things, like I said, that, you know, if I had it on a dyno or I really wanted to take more time, I could dial this thing in fully, but guess what? That started, idled a little low, but as soon as the Target AFR and closed loop took over, it was fine. So, yeah, I gotta say, Sniper, as far as a quick review of this thing, it's pretty dang good for the Sniper 1. I am excited to see what Sniper 2 does. Given the chance, Holly, if you're watching this video, I'm totally down, or Summit Racing, if you're watching this video, I'm totally down to put a Sniper 2 on here. However, I did just get this running, so I'm not too ready to jump and go straight into Sniper 2, but let's back this thing out real quick. All right, guys. There we go, nice shot. You can finally see a little better out here. It's kind of dark in my garage, but there's where I routed it, around the back, underneath the battery tray, right up to this guy. Again, if you guys have more questions about the muscle truck, be sure and subscribe. Check out all my other videos on this thing. It'll cover the Camaro seats, as well as the suspension, paint, wheels, tires, anything you've got questions on. There's those Camaro seats, still holding up really good with the custom brackets that we made. They utilize all the stock components, as you can see there. So it works like factory. Again, that's nothing earth-shattering, that's just some steel tubing. And there's the center console from an 02. Bolted it in between the seats. That's how I have the brackets made, so there's no drilling into the floor. Should have changed my mind. I do have something in the works for this, putting a 2020 console in here, so we'll see how that works out if I got enough room. But that's going to be a wrap for this video, guys. So if you stuck around to the end, thanks for watching. I will have more truck content coming. I have a few more things as well for the Colorado. So if you guys are still wondering if I have all these, I still have all these vehicles. You guys just haven't heard from me. I just kind of took a break from YouTube for a while, if you guys are wondering where I've been, and I've just been doing the dad thing, working and trying to save money, because you know that's what happens. So, and I'm trying to keep the toys around. I think we're going to be able to do it, but yeah. So anyways, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already done that. I've got a video coming up on the Colorado. Again, more stuff for the muscle truck too. This thing is far from over, so you know, just chime in and click the bell while you're at it. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the truck and the new catch can, and what are you guys running? Let me know what you guys are running on your small block, and if you're having any issues with these filters, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to provide links or anything I can do to help you guys out. All right, guys, so it's been a few days. I've been driving the truck kind of on the daily with the new air oil separator on, and I gotta say, they completely fixed all of my issues with those little breathers filling up and having these oil leaks and stuff going on the headers and just making a mess. I'll show you guys the final product real quick. Turned out pretty good. All right, so I got everything kind of cleaned up. Looky there. It's actually not half bad. I was able to route it underneath the battery and just kind of clean up everything. Ignore my headers, they're a little beat. They're like 10 years old. So, you know, for 10-year-old headers, it ain't bad. But anyway, yeah, check it out. We've got no oil coming out of these at all. And used to, you know, I would have this issue with, it coming out and running down the plug wires and just getting into all kinds of stuff, but it's completely dry. Really happy with it. Great product from Summit Racing. So if you guys want to fix those leaky breathers, this is about a $150 fix. You can plumb this sucker in yourself and save you some oil leaking and messing up your engine bay. So there you go, quick update on that. Did work out good. You guys really thought I wasn't gonna open those cutouts for you? Come on now, you'll be better than that. You know, got the bald eagle button in here. Still on a little bit of high idle, so it's not chopping like it normally does, but still pretty good.